Oh, it is a Matty Daddy hitting it hard, hitting it fast. Wednesday Night Delight? I think so. Mwah, grazie. Guys, you see him on the bottom of the screen. It is Antonio Gibson's season. Before I say anything else, Fantasy Football Affair, have you checked it out? Subscribe, like, leave a comment. It's go time, baby. But I'm not doing it alone. Just like every quick hitter that we hit hard and hit fast. Dude, Swagzilla. Swag who? Sam Wagman. Football guys. Ball blast. Taking over fantasy. One of the best analysts in the game is in the house tonight. Everybody, please give a warm welcome. To the Swag Man. Sammy.
What is going on, Matty, man? How you doing tonight?
Woo. Loving life, baby. We're talking about a diamond, dude. A stud. I hit you up a couple weeks ago. I was like, hit me with your best shot. And you said Antonio Gibson needs to be talked about
guy.
more.
That's my guy this year, man. I'm all over that, man. That is one of my favorite running backs this year to talk about. He's on a moonward trajectory.
Ooh,
Sky's the limit, baby.
RB13 last year. From the running back university, Memphis. Fill us in on Antonio Gibson and what happened last year and kind of where we're at.
Well, basically, everyone knows the background on Gibson. Third-round pick out of Memphis last year, was used mostly as a receiver in college. I think he only had 33 carries his last year before he came to the NFL. So, nobody really expected him to be used as a main running back for this team. And, they had Adrian Peterson, they had Bryce Love, they had Darius Geis, they had all, Peyton Barber, JD McKissick, all of these guys. But of all of them, Gibson stands out because he runs hard, he runs fast. He's a great athlete, ran a 4.39 at the 40-yard dash. And, with a 122.8 speed score, that's a 99th percentile. Ooh. For running for, at his position. That's just otherworldly, man. This guy is an athlete.
Dude, and drafted in the third round, and this guy barely touched the ball in college. That's what kind of freak athlete we're probably dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Just crazy.
And he played behind Tony Pollard too. So, everything kind of gets lost in the shuffle there, when, he kind of flew under the radar. But, and nobody, like I said, nobody knew that he was going to be used primarily as a running back. And things just kind of opened up last year, for him. So, I'm hoping that this year he comes out, he balls out, that his toe is okay. I can't really see it playing that much of an issue. Turf toe does flare up now and then. But, I think the sky's the limit. If he can stay healthy, he's got a clear shot to be a top 5 RB this year.
Oh, dude, and speaking of this year, let's talk the team, dude. This is Gibson's season, but this is a retooled offense. What we had last year is not this year. So kind of give us the rundown of Washington, baby.
Yeah, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick coming in now, from Miami last year, and he brings a whole different style of play to this offense from last year. Last year you had Alex Smith, big check down guy. Obviously, bless up to Alex Smith. He did everything he can, and the fact that he came back at all is extraordinary. But let's face it, he's done, man. He retired this offseason, and he really just couldn't do much last year. So, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick now. Everyone kind of thought that they were going to take another QB to kind of groom for the future, myself included. They didn't. They have Ryan Fitzpatrick, they have Taylor Heineke, they have Kyle Allen, but Fitzpatrick's the guy. And, while everyone knows that Fitzpatrick hasn't played a full season of, 16 or more games since 2015, I do believe he gives this offense the best chance of success. And he just raises everyone's projections significantly because he's willing to throw the ball down the field. So, while he'll really help out Antonio Gibson, mostly because I think that he's not going to spend as much time checking the ball down to JD McKissick. I think Gibson will get a nice boost. Last year, they didn't really use him on third down that much. JD McKissic was the typical third down guy. Gibson was used mostly as like a change of pace guy on third down, so he was in and out. So I think that he's definitely going to get more of a share on third down. He only had about 40 targets. I believe it was 33 catches. So, we're going to get more from him there. And I think we should at least see 50 catches from Antonio Gibson, and
that's
as
sexy
he
right
goes,
there.
as he goes up, McKissic goes down. So, I don't think McKissic gets phased out entirely, but I do think, we see him go down a little bit. And, while he may be somewhat of a flex option, given the fact he should still see 4 or 5 targets a game, I just don't see him. He had over 100 targets last year. I just don't see that happening again. Maybe he gets 3 or 4 a game this year.
Okay.
So,
well, dude, you were getting blown up. The Swagzilla comes in the house and the comments go crazy. So while we're talking this team, man, Burner, Swagman
Clayton,
himself,
man,
live and in living color. Nick's on here. Gibson hype. We got Tim saying they ain't no Mixon. Mixon is a bust, buddy. No offense, but
I don't think he's a bust. I don't think he's a bust. I think Mixon needs to be tempered a little bit there.
I just don't want to pay for this guy. Maybe third round value, but I still think he's going higher than he should go. And he's going around Gibson. That's something we also need to take into consider when you say he ain't no Mixon. So, we looked at the stats. Under 200 carries last year, 36 receptions for Gibson. So, in a year where he was still not the focus of the offense, RB13. That's freaking nuts.
Yeah, and I think, you can attribute that to Gibson being really efficient on the ground. He had 5.1 yards per touch last year, and he was really good with what the slim amount of work that he was able to get. So, for him, he really needed to be efficient because he didn't have that many opportunities. With only 170 carries, he had to make the most of it, and only 44 targets. So, when you take that into account, there really is a lot of improvement for him to do, because he can go all the way from that 215 touches last year. He could probably have 300 this year. And it wouldn't shock me that much. I don't think it's out of line to, give him 250 touches. As this offense improves, they'll be able to churn out clock more later in games, which clears the way for Gibson to, rack up those carries. No more 12 carries a game for him.
No.
We should see him at 15 to 17 carries a game. And, like I said, we should definitely see those targets rise. I think they rise to at least 60, if not more, which will definitely increase his catches there. And his rush yards, he had just under 800 last year. It wouldn't shock me to see him hit 1,000. In fact, I even said about a week ago that he's one of the 5 or 6 guys with a realistic shot to hit 1,000. Ron Rivera is well versed in having running backs like that. Remember, this is the guy who coached Christian McCaffrey for a couple of years. So it would not shock me to see him manage to coax a high-level season out of Antonio Gibson. Not projecting 1,000 here. It's definitely possible. It's in his range of outcomes.
We got a couple more comments coming in. Mustang, give him a shout.
That's my man, Jason.
Yeah, he's a stud, dude. Gibby to the moon. Another gentleman, Eric Burkholder. Bingo, bango, bongo. If you haven't checked out our Fantasy Football Affair podcast, drops every week. Great content. They're really hitting dynasty rebuilds, different strategies. Worth checking out, guys. If you haven't, giving myself a cheap plug, www.ffaffair.com. Sam, we know how good this Gibson guy is. To the moon. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Everybody plays Dynasty. Everybody wants to know the worth. We see that he has that RB1 territory right in front of him. But let's talk trades, man. Let's talk Dynasty value. Hats on backwards, ready to go. Let's talk trades, man. First off, you can hit this from a competitor or a rebuild situation. D-Hop, a locked and loaded wide receiver 3 every year, but getting a little up there in age, my man. What are your thoughts on this trade? Are you willing to get rid of a Hop to get yourself some Gibby, or is this one of those you're not sure about?
So I think this differs for people, because there are definitely people that would trade Gibson for D-Hop and be happy with it. And, in the right situation, I also would. Like, if I have Kyler Murray on my team and I want to stack him with D-Hop, I might consider it. But to be honest with you, that age does play a little bit of a factor, but not as much as the fact that I want to have the stud running back, and I have Gibson at RB6 in my dynasty rankings. He's up there for me.
Right.
So I love this kid, and that doesn't change the fact that even though D-Hop is at wide receiver 3 in my rankings right now, and I haven't done my wide receiver dynasty rankings, to be fair, but he'll definitely be up there. He's still a top 5 option. Doesn't change the fact that I myself typically go for a running back heavy build and emphasize wide receiver later. So it's not uncommon to find me fading wide receiver for the first 5 rounds entirely, unless someone falls in my lap. That being said,
sexier than a robust RB build in my eyes.
Yep, that robust running back, that elite tight end, they all take precedence for me over having an elite receiver, because you can get production, in those middle rounds that's not as good as the wide receivers, but the drop off is not as steep as if you go with a lesser talented RB. So for me, I would take Gibson over D-Hop straight up.
Okay, that's what people need to know. They see D-Hop and they see these wide receiver 1 finishes. They see he's connected to Kyler, but you also take into effect that 29-year-old age. That's something to take in. Mustaine is blowing us up. Did you guys do a trade or something?
No, I do remember that Jason paid up heavily for Antonio Gibson. I think that's the trade he's referring to.
Gotcha.
He traded, I want to say it was 3 firsts and a second to someone in a league that we're in for Antonio Gibson. Man, he loves himself some Gibson. I love Gibson. I think Jason might love him more.
Well, dude, let's keep it going. Let's talk the rookie belle of the ball. We can't coming into this year. We saw Trevor Lawrence being the belle of the ball, and I think things have changed to the point. I don't know if they're out of control or we're just seeing a once in a lifetime athlete. Kyle Pitts, man, this is a guy. You see him going 102 in some drafts, or you see him tight end 3 in dynasty, maybe higher. So, what are your thoughts? Because this one's an interesting one. Everybody loves Pitts. Everybody loves Gibson. What are your thoughts here in a dynasty build?
Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one for me, and it is really tough because I do love Kyle Pitts a lot. I don't know if I'd be willing to. I don't know if I would be willing to drop Gibson, who I know is on track for that stratospheric rise. For Kyle Pitts. I do believe Kyle Pitts is a unicorn. I do believe he's currently the tight end 2 behind Travis Kelce.
Okay.
So this is really close. It honestly might just depend on my mood that day. So, I think this is a complete toss-up for this, the purpose of this show. I think I'm going to go Gibson. If we did the show tomorrow, I might say Pitts. That's
very
legitimately
close.
As honest as I could be there.
Man, how about redraft? Is this you're not touching Pitts as early?
No. I'm definitely drafting. I'm definitely drafting him in redraft too. I'm happy to do that, but I do think there's some better values there, and I probably would take Gibson before I took Pitts in redraft as well just this year. But like Pitts is right there. I'm ranking him ahead of George Kittle this year for me. So I mean. I'm not at all slandering Pitts. I think he's great. Again, both formats, they're this close for me. So
gotcha.
It's literally dependent on the day, my man.
Dude, I love it. I love what you've brought to the table just with your knowledge of this and kind of that outside looking in for a Hopkins player. Somebody like that you might be able to get Gibson for if you talk to the right owner who's trying to win now and is kind of blind.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. We've talked trades. We've talked team. We've talked last year. We've talked Memphis. if I'm correct, hit us with it, even if we didn't hear it. I believe we did. If everything goes the way you expect, where do you see Antonio Gibson finishing?
Oh man, I have him ranked at RB8 this year for half PPR. I think he can go as high as RB5 right now if everything works out for him. There's RB1 overall is not out of the question. It's definitely at the high range of outcomes. I definitely wouldn't tell anyone to draft Antonio Gibson #1 overall. Nor am I telling anyone to draft him ahead of any of Saquon, CMC, Dalvin, those guys. But he's definitely up there. He can get there in full PPR formats. He's going to be a beast. It would not shock me. I think his ceiling this year is probably like an 1,100 yard season mixed with a 500 yard receiving yard season. That'll probably put him inside the top 7. I think it'll put him close to 5 there. Obviously doing this off the top of my head, but I mean, sky's the limit for him. He has everything he needs. That Washington O-line is getting better and better. It's still not that great. Hopefully they're able to block for him a little bit better. And I do think that their offense will be better. And their defense is obviously astounding, which will enable them to churn out clock late in games and get Gibson some garbage time rush yards, which is always good for him. So
love it.
Yes,
the ceiling is very high. Real quick, off topic. I want a 1-word answer when I say this name. Darrell Henderson.
Interesting.
But
I do see it as a committee.
That's enough. Lips sealed. We're getting to him later. Dude, Swagzilla, Sam Wagman, guys. If you have not checked out his product, it is top notch. He does his own show during the season. He brings it, articles, you name it, he does it. This guy is as intelligent as they come. Analyst of all fantasy football guys. Ball blast. And your best kept secret, Sam Wagman. Dude, it's been a blast, man.
Yeah, man, I love doing this. This is such a cool way of doing shows. These quick hitters, love it. Get the idea out quick and fast. Hit them hard, baby.
That's right. We got stuff to do, baby. Football's 49 days away. Till then, Swagman, the Matty Daddy. As always, it has been a pleasure, my treasure.